Hello, my name is Dominic Najafi and I'm part of the Jaguar design team. And welcome to the first instalment of a sequence of short films that will give you an insight into the design process. And welcome also to my home, the kitchen table, where of course we're still trying to stay at home and stay creative. So I'm going to do a sketch today. I'm going to sketch the amazing Jaguar I-Pace, Jaguar's first electric car, and talk a little bit about how to do that. Sketching is still a very traditional part of the process, but the more you understand sketching, the better you are at sketching, the better chance of understanding the further stages, the digital phases, and so and also it's such a joy to do. It's relaxing. It's like a hobby. So okay, I'm going to try and do it in real time. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are, completely blank page, no underlay. Let's make a sketch. We're going to do the side view of the car because that is really the best way to describe what type of car it is and also analyse the proportions. You'll see car designers do it a lot. It's a great way to describe first principles. So with I-Pace, quite a long wheelbase to package the batteries. So the wheelbase is probably about 2 3/4 long, if you like. So there's first wheel. I can sketch the second wheel. It's okay if the rear wheel is a little bit bigger. Sometimes that makes the sketch look very dynamic. Okay, so we've got the wheels roughly in place. We're just hinting at them for now. Pencil, keeping it really loose. Just want to really get the spirit of the car today. So we have this sort of like upper sill line that runs right through the car, and that really grounds the car. So you start with these lines basically of the lower sill. You can think about the ground. Now you've got the wheel in. This is an SUV, so it's still quite low riding, very sporty, but there's a bit of ground clearance. So we can just sketch that in and get the car to sit on the ground. So we've got this sill line. Then we can start to think of the key lines in the car. You have the body wide line, and you can see the relationship between them. We'll have more wedge on this line in the sill. It can be done differently in many different cars, but this is how the I-Pace gets a very dramatic forward momentum stance. And the belt line, even more wedge. So they kind of fan out and create a lot of direct movement. So with the wheels, let's just hint at the wheel arches as well to get a bit of grounding of where everything is, and we can build surfaces from there. The I-Pace has these real wheels, large wheels in the corner. The motors are on the axle, so the overhangers can be kept very short, and that really gives the car that wheel at the corner dramatic stance. Without the engine, of course, we can move the windscreen forward and go very fast, really fast, almost supercar-like cab forward design. So we get the A-post in there, and then if you think as well of the height of a car, 2 wheels high gives a very good kind of length to height ratio. In other words, the car will look very sleek. But because it's a sketch, we'll exaggerate that slightly and give the roof a lot of tapering downward movement that grounds the car to the back. Okay, so a rough roof line and some basic principles in there. Now, let's think about the haunches and the fenders of I-Pace. We've got a very prominent front haunch. That's quite short actually, because the rear one is larger, and again this contributes to that kind of that cab forward appearance and that forward momentum in the car. Okay, and the rear haunch is higher than the front, again just to work with the whole wedge of the design. The body wide line, by the way, is a line that again runs right around the car usually, and that creates a lot of light and shadow, breaks up the body side. It's a very precise line. So now we've got those in, let's just think about the corners slightly. Again, very short rear overhangs. So, and the I-Pace has this almost quite cut off, very aerodynamic tail actually. The car develops in the wind tunnel, of course, for maximum efficiency and performance. And let's get the front end in here, corner on the car. The bonnet appears actually, again the bonnet almost, it's very low and almost disappears behind this front haunch. Again, giving this very dramatic and sporty appearance. Bit of a windscreen. From here we do the very, again, really fast rear screen. So the glazing, the cabin, it's very dynamic. It's got this very exaggerated feel that makes the car very modern actually. And then and we can look at now a bit more detail with this sill feature. I-Pace has this on the light catcher, which is a surface that catches light again to break up the body side and creates a lot of dynamism to the surfaces. Actually has a gloss black light catcher, very technical kind of piece, cuts through the car. So just get a bit of shading. It's a key part of the design in the side view. We can get let's finish off that bonnet actually, that nose, the low nose. Let's get this, the classic kind of Jaguar headlamp in there. It's very distinctive, very assertive shape. And then get a bit of this detail in. This very cool side feature, which is like this flush gloss black side cheek. There's a very aerodynamic surface and links with the gloss black of the light catcher on the side. Right, well let's look at what's called the DLO. The DLO is this side glass shape, and you know, a car can be very distinctive with the DLO, and almost you recognise the car from a great distance just with this graphic. And the I-Pace is again a really fast starting point, and then it's almost done in 3 curves, and it really does ground the car to the back. It's a very very distinctive shape. The rear screen, you see a lot of it in side view because it's got so much shape on it and wraps around really really dramatically, and so you'll see a lot of the rear screen in side view. And then we've got this really cool spoiler. It's a flow-through spoiler in reality to keep the air attached down the rear window. It doesn't need a wiper, and it's a very important part of the car. Really again very distinctive. Okay, so the car's kind of getting there, kind of coming to life. On the lower surfaces, on the sill, I-Pace has these very sculptural surfaces that again perform an aerodynamic function and keep the air attached running down the sill. Let's go to the rear, look at the rear shapes, and again a bit of detail. You'll see this diffuser, again fully developed for performance in the wind tunnel. A bit shading into the rear, so you start to understand the car, the shape of the car. Let's get the pillars on, just to give a bit of size context, and a hint at the interior from the other side. And this will, even though it's a side view sketch, you still want it to have a bit of perspective and a three-dimensional feel. So little things like that just bring it to life slightly. I'm going to do this quite quick, of course. We do have usually more time than this, but to keep this this quick, I'll just keep it very loose. On the body side then, we've got this horizon line that can describe the way the wheels flare out, very subtly, but they flare out to give the car a really nice stance. So you can just describe that with a bit of shading as well. And then let's just finish this chin feature off, where you've got there we go, and more definition to the ground. Right, okay, so let's look at giving the wheel a bit more detail. So we can just sketch the dish of the wheel. This will help us shade in the windows, the gaps between the spokes. And let's do a nice kind of 5-spoke design. I-Pace, one of the wheels is very technical looking and aerodynamic. Almost has the directional blade spokes. Again, create a lot of excitement to the appearance of the car. And we've got these carbon fibre inserts that reduce the weight of the wheel, yet still enhance the aerodynamic qualities of the wheel for improved range. Okay, let's quickly do it on the rear. Get the 5 spokes, just gesture the 5 spokes in there. Then add a little bit of detail, get those turbine kind of, those blades in there. And again, those carbon fibre inserts, let's keep it really, speed this up a bit. Okay, right, one more little detail. We can get the door mirror in. And this can, you know, when you start to think about the next phase, we're going to render the car, bring it to life more, you can already at this stage start to think about, okay, where's the light source? And if you imagine the light coming like from the top corner, this mirror would create a kind of shadow like that. And that shadow can just describe again a bit the form of the car and bring the sketch to life a little bit. Okay, so we've kind of got everything roughly in the right place. So we can now just get a bit more precision to sketch. So let's give it, let's just get a bit more of a feeling of where the wheels really are. Same on the rear. Maybe go slightly bigger on the rear, just to exaggerate the sportiness of the car. Again, the wheel arches as well. Let's get those wheel arches in. Do this quite quick. Move those around. Okay, and then a bit more precision to some key lines that just define the car, the structural elements of the car, like the sill feature, that body wide line as we just discussed. And even the ground, actually, get the car to sit really well. Okay, and then we can just get a bit more shading to the ground, just to understand where it is on the road. Okay, so we're nearly there for this phase. A really quick sketch that just captures the essence of I-Pace. It's a very dramatic design, intelligent packaging, cab forward kind of stance. Very exciting to look at when you see these on the road. It's a real treat. Let's get these door shuts on quickly. The door shuts again just can describe the form of the car, hint at the charge point. Door handles as well, these flush door handles on the side that are, again, just give the car a very clean technical look. Okay, pretty much done. That is now kind of ready for the next phase. It's a very loose, quick sketch that captures the essence of the car, and now we can look at taking that to the next level. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Sketching, you know, this part of the process, we'd have hundreds of sketches at this stage, at the early stage. It's still the most spontaneous way for a designer to communicate the idea, communicate their vision of what a future Jaguar should be. And it's a really exciting part of the process, and also very competitive. This is where designers are really pushing each other to higher levels to win the chance to work on the next Jaguar. So now with this sketch, a bit rough, but now it gives you the idea, and it's now time to take this to the next level. So I'm going to pass over now to one of my colleagues, Matthew Bevan, who is going to take this on to take this now into Photoshop. So here we go, Matthew. Here's the sketch coming to you.